Before we begin, a few notes to cover really fast. All of the slides are available online at tinyurl/Microsoft-v-GitHub. The entire presentation is open for anyone to look at. Also, all references that I discuss will be included in the slideshow as links embedded within the slides. With that, let's start the time and begin. So, welcome to my presentation. This is GitHub and Microsoft. We're going to be comparing their websites today. We're not going to be looking at it from a technical aspect, although that would certainly be fun. We're going to be talking about it from the aspect of someone looking to learn information about the companies themselves. So the criteria that we're going to be using when discussing these companies is first, user friendliness. How easy is it to get to the information about the company? Second, we're going to be discussing how the company describes itself. Does it give a lot of information about itself? What kind of information does it give? Number three, we're going to be talking about how well the company highlights its open source and community endeavors, because non-tangible benefits are important to employees as well. Number four, we're going to be talking about transparency a little bit. And we're going to be talking about news sites or blogs that the company may have to give you an idea of what's happening in the company at this moment and give you a daily snapshot of that. We're also finally going to be talking about the careers and applications section of their sites as well. So let's jump in, starting with Microsoft.com. Now, Microsoft, we know, has this image of being this monolithic tech giant that at the same time is both oppressive, yet at the same time is the industry standard. Now, we're going to see those ideas countered a little bit as we go through their website. First impression of the homepage, what we're looking for is something that'll easily direct us to About Us and Careers. Guess what? It's not there. The About Us and Careers links, instead of being at the top where they are on most websites, are actually down at the very bottom of the page, which is a little bit surprising, hard to find. First knock against them if you're looking for company information. However, that's where the knocking ends. That little section holds a ton of information. There are all sorts of facts, more than I really have time to go into, but we'll be going through each of these one by one really fast. In the Facts About Microsoft page, it goes through the stuff you'd normally expect to find in a public company: history, structure, locations, growth. Also, if you know that there's a big battle going on in the tech giants between who can be most politically correct in their hiring decisions, Microsoft is very much in the middle of that, and they give you very detailed employee demographics for every department, which is probably more information than you need, but it does give you very specific information of what the company is like, what its focus is, what its core principles are. And also who you'll be working with if you do apply. Now, for the citizenship page, it surprised me how much information Microsoft was giving about its charitable contributions, and there are a lot. There are youth programs, there are free software for people in need, there are natural disaster recovery programs that they have. It's very good, and this very highly contributes to what I call the intangible benefits of a company, and that shows in their employee satisfaction, which is very good and a very good important piece of information to know if you're considering working there. Now, going on to the transparency section, the news page and the blogs, very comprehensive. They have tons of blogs, tons of news pages being written by all sorts of employees. They really are the industry standard. And because of that, their employees are looked up to across the industry, and they are encouraged by Microsoft to start blogs and websites themselves. Scott Hansel being of course, the most famous example of that. Going on to the career sites, they give you this awesome presentation about how their company is and all these other different sections of the site, and their career and their application process is no less awesome. They focus very heavily on student programs, making that completely separated from other career paths so that students and graduates have basically a red carpet right into Microsoft. Well, from an application standpoint, it's very easy and streamlined and very helpful to do that, to know that that is their focus. Some quick thoughts about Microsoft.com overall. There's lots of information there. Almost too much. Trying to navigate is like trying to climb every branch of a tree. It's very detailed and particular and very fine. It goes everywhere. Also, big, huge bummer. Red mark for Microsoft here. They're making a huge good change to open source a lot of their projects, including the .NET Core itself, yet you don't see any of this in their company information. You don't see them countering the very private aspect that they've held on to for so long. I would like to see them maybe highlight that a little bit more on their website. Final grade that I gave them, with all of our 5 criteria, I gave them a B. Moving on to GitHub. You look at their front page, they give you a nice little blurb of their company: build software better together. They are a code repository, and they just tell you right up there, which is awesome. That is a little bit of company information right from the get-go. However, that's where it stops. Just like Microsoft, the About and Careers link is hidden at the bottom of the page, but it's even less visible than it is on Microsoft.com. If we look at their About page where it links to, unlike Microsoft, which was a wealth of information, GitHub was disappointingly not. It had 4 links, and they weren't that helpful. We're going to go through them one by one really fast. The About GitHub page had this blurb: GitHub is the best place to share code, etc., etc. Very simple purpose statement and a picture. One sentence, nothing else. Very disappointing, very much a lack of information there. Looking at their team, you would think you would find more. No, all it has is pictures of all of its employees. Now, each of them do have a profile. So if you want to get a snapshot of the company as a whole, I guess you'd have to dig through each profile and kind of take the average of it. Oh, a lot of these people are this way. That's not what we wanted to hear. We want to be able to go on there and see our company is about blah. We don't see that on our team. We don't see what a day in the life of a GitHubber is like. And that is disappointing. On the press page, also mainly not helpful. They have a few stats and everything like that, but they're really not that helpful. The big key here, though, is they have a bunch of links to external articles about them. These are articles written by Fox News, CNN, NBC, Forbes that actually have really good information on their corporate culture and what it's like to work there and what the company is all about. We wish they had that on their website, but at least they link to it. So sort of a benefit there. Now, looking at their blog, they're kind of like Microsoft. They give you a very good up-to-the-minute. They're posting blogs all the time. They've got stuff that you can follow. However, in terms of finding out about the company as itself, you kind of have to do detective work, dig through little details here and there to piece together what a day in the life of a GitHubber is like and what it would be like for you as an employee. Not a whole lot of information. The word of the day for GitHub is sparse. Looking at the jobs page, it's a lot more helpful. They talk about their culture, but not directly. They talk about DJ booths, karaoke nights, dodgeball. Hint, this is a startup culture. It's relaxed. It's come to work dressed in your shorts. Very good employment benefits, by the way, but still not a whole lot about the company, its focus as itself. Ending thoughts on that, sparse on details. It doesn't like to self-advertise that much. There's a few details, but you have to do detective work to grab them. It's definitely a corporate environment. However, they did have a big focus on open source technologies, but only because that's what they host. That's what they do. Final grade I gave GitHub was a C. In conclusion, if you are a tech person looking for a company to work in, you're going to see both of these, and you're going to get a lot more information from Microsoft's website than you are going to get from GitHub. However, what you are able to tell from GitHub should give you a decent picture if you can do the detective work. I'm Matthew Watkins.